Good afternoon, welcome to B-Sides Las Vegas. Hey! Come on, come on. I want to be louder than those guys next door because I hear them all the time. Come on, once more. Welcome. Yeah! All right, thank you. We'd like to thank our sponsors, especially the Inner Circle sponsors, the Critical Stack and Valmail. I'd also like to thank Amazon, BlackBerry, and NSA, the National Security Agency. That's what it says on the form. Okay. Remember your cell phones. Please be polite. Turn them off. Okay. I have a microphone. I will pass them around, and the first 3 people who ask questions get a pair of socks. Woo-hoo. All right. So, and we have feedback forms on the back. I'd like to introduce, and I can try to say her name right. It's Sanne I said it earlier, Maasakkers. No.
Yes, it's perfect.
No, was I right? You let me know.
Well, thank you.
I did it right the first time.
Yeah. Well, thank you all for being here. First of all, I want to thank my mentor, Chris. I think he would be somewhere here. Yay! Hi. Well, my name is Sanne Maasakkers. You did pronounce it very well. It's Dutch, so that's why it's very hard to pronounce. But I will introduce myself later. First, I want to play a little game with you because you're all security experts, right? First, I have this website, a screenshot of a website. You just go browsing on the internet and you encounter this website. Take a couple of seconds to look at it, because now you're looking at this website. Did you see some differences? I'm not Hans Klok with the show here, but did you see differences? 1, 2, 3. Yes, right? Well, there were some differences on these websites because the first website looks a little bit more legit because it used the smartphone.store as URL and has an SSL certificate. And the second website has the smartphone store.virusscannerpro.uk. So that seems fishy. And there are small typos and misspellings on the websites. So when you see those websites on the internet, do you behave differently? Well, I don't think you will because you're our security experts, but I did a little test with a small set of people, and I was wondering, do people behave differently when they got these 2 websites? And that's what I'm going to talk about today. I developed a model, what is user behavior, and do people behave differently? So my name is Sanne Maasakkers. I'm a pen tester working for Fox IT. It's a company in the Netherlands, part of NCC Group. And this is my daily life. Well, not actually my daily life, because I was asked to be a hand model for the national news. And during my work day, I don't use Metasploit with I don't know what it is. It was a very stupid exploit. Well, this is 99% of me in the media and 0.1% in my actual working life. So yes, I'm making the world more secure every day, just like you do all day. So I was wondering, could I combine phishing, social engineering with my previous job in web development and security? So that's why I came with this presentation. So phishing, we perform phishing assignments almost every day to test the security awareness of our customers. I think you will do as well. But what we know after we performed an assignment is how many people clicked, how many people filled in the credentials, and how many people executed malware. But we don't know what happened in the meantime. Do people like the website? Are they wandering on the website? Are they clicking it away after they filled in credentials but didn't submit it? It was like, okay, we only know some things, but we don't know how they actually behave on the website. So that's what I did, actually. But before, I needed to know a little bit more about the psychology of phishing. So why are people clicking on links on websites? First, because they don't know it's a phishing website, because they don't have the knowledge. They don't know. Second, because it's called visual deception. the phishing website looks exactly or almost exactly the same as the legit website. They're using the same logos. They use, well, very good typo squatting, maybe use all domains or domain takeovers, so it looks like the phishing website. So even when you are okay aware, you still don't know it's a phishing website. And last but not least, because you have a lack of attention. For example, before you have your morning coffee or after a long day of annoying colleagues like mine, yeah, you don't have the attention anymore, so you're just clicking on a website and okay, fine. So I did a little experiment, like I said. I created 2 websites. I already showed you a screenshot of the phishing website. So I created 2 websites, one with the heuristics of a legit website and one with the heuristics of a phishing website. Those 2 websites were presented to a test group. They were included in a questionnaire. So I sent out a questionnaire to a group of 30 people, not in my network, because I have a lot of IT specialists and security experts in my network. So I asked some people, including my parents, to spread the word, because they are not in the field. And I asked them to browse to 2 websites. First, browse to the legit website, perform some simple tasks like, okay, go to the website, go to the login page, register, add a phone to your card, and then finish the purchase. I did the same with the second website, so with the phishing website, perform the same steps. Of course, I switched the order of those 2 websites after 15 participants because maybe they already learned from the first website, so their behavior would be differently. After they had to perform those steps, I asked some general questions to gain more knowledge about the people. So, for example, age and education, but also if they have experience in buying online, because maybe they already got scammed and they didn't see the differences, and okay, that would be clear. And I also asked the question, did you see differences between those 2 websites, and what did you see? Which difference did you see? So this was my setup. This is the screenshot of the website. So it was called the Phone Store. It's not a real brand because there you have brand association and all that kind of stuff. So I made up a brand, the Phone Store, and it was a phone web shop with iPhones. It looks like this, and it has small differences. I used a visual similarity model because it had to be almost the same. Because if it was a completely different website, then yeah, of course the setup wouldn't work. So this was the website. Those differences can be placed in 3 categories. The first one is in content. There were a lot of researchers that placed all phishing heuristics in 3 categories, and those are those 3. The first is content, so that could be text, could be images. The second one is content and URL. So you're using another URL, could be a total different URL, but you could also use IP address, for example. And the third one is the use of an SSL certificate. I know that a significant amount of phishing websites use HTTPS, but I still decided to use it because, well, the websites really look alike. So I wanted to have a clear indicator that it could be a phishing website. When I applied those heuristics, it looked like this. So this is the phishing website. I used the logo, the same logo, but I changed the dimensions, so it would be not that sharp as the normal website. I used some typos here, typos there, not that many. I used Chinese characters, could be any character, but I wanted to show that, okay, this website could be a scam website, could be a phishing website because it's translated from another country. It was just a small indicator that it's not completely legit. Then I used this one. I think it's very funny. Phishers tend to use fake security logos on their website. So I just picked some security logos from websites. It's not even a website security logo. So I used that one to create a fake security idea on the website. So people think it's secure, but it's actually not. Also wanted to add a small time pressure, so it was a be quick, only a few devices left in stock, so that people are going to their goal and are going to buy that phone. I also used a difference in price. Well, this is in euros because I'm from the Netherlands, but it is a little bit more, and then you have the dollar amount. I chose to use a price that's not that far from the original price, because if it's too good to be true, well, of course, we all know that it's too good to be true. So I chose a little bit less than the normal price, but as you may know, iPhones never are in discount, unfortunately. Then we have the login page, and here I also used the fake security. So you can see that it's not secure because you're entering a login page. There is no certificate, so it's not secure. But I said, yeah, this form is secured and encrypted, but it was just text with a green font, awesome lock icon. So it's still not secure, of course. So this was the phishing website. Now I wanted to gather information about their behavior. But first I needed to know what behavior is, of course. So I read a lot of researches. Most researches were in the UX context, or UX domain. But there was one researcher that researched the behavior in combination with security, because it was about biometrics and security to create a continuous authentication application. So I thought, well, that would be fine, because the goal of that research was to distinguish people by their online behavior, and that was exactly what I needed. So behavior, what they researched was that behavior is or contains mouse speed, so your speed with the mouse on your website, click frequency and key press frequency, the hand amplitude, so the maximum width of your hand on the website, the idle time, and efficiency. I will show later the amplitude, how the amplitude was calculated, and the efficiency. But to gather this information, to get this information, I had, of course, capture information on the website. So that's why I decided to use the mouse capturing. So on what timestamp are you on what coordinate on the website, the click press, or the clicks of your mouse, so which time or which coordinate, and the key presses. I captured the key presses, not the real key presses, but that a key was pressed and in which field it was pressed. So that information was sent by an API to the database, so I can use it for data science. Well, how does that look like? I made a small screen capture, how that looks like. Here you see me scrolling on the phishing website. So it says, okay, go to all iPhone models. Okay, I just scroll through the website. I go to register. In the questionnaire, I asked to go to the login page first and then go to register. So I'm just entering some information. Now you all know my password. So, okay, I'm logged in. I go to the shop, add something to my cart. Okay, there's something in my cart. Do I like this? Yes, okay, I want to check out. And that's where it ends. You don't have to fill in your information because it was research. Okay, so I was added to the database as a user. All timestamps and mouse X and mouse Y's were added. Even for the clicks and the key presses. So this was entered after what I did on that website, so I can use this information for data science. The users, I also captured the dimensions because I had to normalize all screen dimensions because my screen is smaller than your screen, so I had to bring it down to 100%. So what I did on the screen capture resulted in this. This is the screen, or this is the heat map with all mouse movements. Please note that the y-axis is going from 0 to 350 in reverse order because my screen is starting at 0 in the left top, of course, and 350% because your website is scrollable. So you go further than 100%. This is then the mouse movement, and this is when I use convex hulling. That's a technique in game development to enclose all points to calculate the maximum hand amplitude. So I only had to brute force all those dots that were on the line to calculate the maximum length of the hand amplitude, and this is how it looks like when you connect all mouse movements. This was needed to calculate efficiency. Efficiency was defined by researchers different ways. I used to divide the length of the click path, so the length between two clicks divided by the actual movement between those two clicks. If you're very efficient, you go from one click to another one just in a straight line. If you're not efficient, you click, you go all through the website like crazy, and then go to the next point to click. And if you divide those two numbers, then you get efficiency. So if you're very efficient, then you're close to 1. If you're not very efficient, you're close to 0. So in the questionnaire, I also asked something about education, ages, and if you ever bought online, if you got scammed, if you saw differences. And that resulted in a lot of information that I needed to process. Well, in total there were 30 participants and more than 100,000 interactions. I created R models to check them, what happened. These are some cool statistics. Most of the people buy online every month. There was only a very small group that buys once a year. And the second pie chart shows how many difference they saw. Only content is the light blue one. Content plus URL was the red one. Content URL and HTTPS is the orange one. So if you saw more than one difference, so only in content, so only a typo, for example, then you were one of the 83 participants, percent of the participants. If you saw more than 2, you're 20%. Exactly all 3 categories, then it's 13%, and 17% of the participants didn't see a difference. Well, that's not very good. So, what are the conclusions? Well, people behave differently on those 2 websites because the efficiency on a phishing website was way higher than the efficiency on a legit website. So yeah, that works. Time pressure was added. Maybe they feel pressured, so they go directly to their target. We don't know, but there are several things we can think about. Next to that, well, there was only a set of 30 participants, but we have to test this on a bigger set. That security awareness defined by the number of categories and differences they saw is very low between the ages of 16 and 25 and 56 and older. So we should focus on security awareness for those 2 groups. My generation knows how to recognize phishing, apparently. So what to do with this? Well, I was thinking about the future and what are the next steps. I was looking for the future, and this was the image I got on Google. It is a wrapper, the future. What could we do now? Well, I'm definitely going to use this model in our phishing assignment, so we can not compare if there are differences in behavior between the legit website and the phishing website, but we can definitely check if there are differences between the phishing assignments. So maybe that one with a bigger logo, one with a typo works better than the other one. Not only looking at clicks or downloads or filled-in credentials, but also at their behavior at the website. And what are more next steps? Well, I put everything on the GitHub, the websites, the API, the data, so you can use the data set, as well as all the R scripts, so you can use this in your own research. You can download it. And I added a research paper of 70 pages if you want to know more about this research. And if you want to know more, you can follow me on Twitter or LinkedIn. Thank you. Are there any questions? They're still socks. They're very nice.
What was the what language for both the website and the back-end analytics? What programming languages were you
The two websites were made in Laravel. It's a PHP framework, and the API was created on Lumen. That's a micro framework for APIs. Everyone wants the socks.
Were you testing to see if people refused to complete the test on the phishing site, and did you have results in that way?
Yep, I had two people that didn't want to click on the second website and said immediately, nope, this is phishing. And they were in my generation, in my age category.
Were you surprised by the group that noticed no differences? And what do you think, training-wise, you could help that group of people out?
Well, I was not surprised because most of the people that were older than 56 didn't see the differences, and younger than 18, so they were there. Yeah, I'm not very surprised if I look at my own grandma and granddad, actually, because they didn't grow up with cybersecurity. I keep telling them that, but they still use the same password for everything. So no, I'm not surprised. What do we need to do? I don't know. All have a granddaughter in security. Something like that.
So is there a way to track websites that are actually watching your clicks? Because I haven't seen that very often. Is that commonly, is that feedback very common?
Well, you have tracking blockers that block a lot of trackers, but that's why I decided to create my own API, because when I use, for example, Google, they have services to track your behavior on a website, then a lot of the tracked behavior would be deleted or blocked. So yes, there are tracker blockers that block this kind of information.
Did you notice any other correlations in the group that was less likely to fall for the phish? Were they more likely to be working in tech or associated with tech, or were they more frequent online shoppers?
Well, I didn't go that far actually, but the data set is online. So if you want to check it out, please do. Yeah, I'm fine.
Any more? If not, that's it. Okay, thank you, everybody.